And we haven't noticed that this meeting is currently streamed on the YouTube, which I guess it's a signal that we can start. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us to the webinar organized by YMCA Europe today on discussing about digital well-being and mindful bites. My name is Eliza Vash. I work for YMCA Europe as a research and reporting consultant. And today I have the pleasure to moderate this webinar where we have some very distinguished guests among us. The purpose of this meeting is to have it as a webinar format. Therefore, it's going to be recorded, as you have heard previously, streamed on YouTube, and afterwards it's going to be disseminated on the social media channels of YMCA Europe. All right, so for the beginning, I would like to invite Juan Simoes Iglesias, the Executive Director of YMCA Europe, to address a few words. Juan, please.
Thank you so much, Elisa, and really warm welcome to each one of you on behalf of YMCA Europe, and a word of gratitude for joining this afternoon, this evening. A very special day indeed. It's the first day of spring, which means a lot. It means a lot for our well-being. And of course, spring brings a new, fresh air probably for hope, and really need that. We really need that as we face not easy times, across Europe and globally. So let's really hope that this spring and the months ahead of us are going to be both full of hope and also active for each one of us in a good way. And when we talk about well-being, it connects immediately with the question that we generally ask to each other: how are you? And the time that we spend listening to the answer, the better for each one of us. It's easy to ask someone, how are you? And just go to immediately to something else, or to go on a conversation, or to go on with our own lives. But to make sure that we are well, and we listen to friends, colleagues around us, how well they are, it says a lot, especially when we talk about the YMCA and our values-based organization. And you'll be talking about digital well-being, which is the next stage. Is a stage that comes. It's immediately connected with our capacity to be well, even digitally. And considering how crucial it is, the digital approach for each one of us in contemporary times, of for young people across Europe, even if I'm speaking of a sort of a caveman as I am, so with digital items, this is especially relevant. It is especially relevant what you're going to share this afternoon with all of us. Really looking forward. Big gratitude for everyone that will speak in this webinar, as you said, Elisa. And this is all from my side. Thank you, and all the best. Looking forward to your inputs. Thank you so much, Elisa, and over to you.
Thank you so much for the message sent. And now I'm going to present you how we are going to make use of this hour that we are going to spend today together. So first of all, we are going to have a few of remarks shared by each of our speakers today. Afterwards, we are going to have a short presentation on what the EU does in terms of mental health and digital being. And then we will move to some discussions on the challenges and opportunities brought by digital well-being. And here we will have all the speakers engaged in the discussions. So considering that we only have 1 hour at hand for this webinar, we need to be very mindful with the time allocated for the interventions. And for this, I'm very thankful for the speakers on how they have prepared their interventions in order to make sure that we will be respecting the program for today. So just to let you know who is with us today, a short introduction on the speaker. We have with us Elena Kanabova, Associate Director and Country Corporate Citizenship Lead from Accenture Slovakia, which played a very big role in our endeavors on digital well-being and on Mindful Bytes, the game that we will be showing today. Alina Pop, Executive Director from YMCA Romania, Adrian Davis from Camp Peterșan, Director, Joao Mura, Social and Community Intervention Psychologist from YMCA Setúbal, and Vadim Tachuk, Chef Specialist and Digital Leader from Zdolbuniv City Administration in Ukraine. Thank you very much for being with us today and for allocating your time to digital well-being, which we consider to be a very important topic. So no further ado on the guidelines. I would like to share my screen to introduce you to our Mindful Byte game. And in this sense, just a second, you can find it online, available in an interactive format. This format has been made available with the help of our friends and partners from Accenture. And in this game, in Mindful Bytes, we also have a series of understanding cards on different subjects, mostly related on digital well-being, but other related subjects as well. And then I'm going to turn the card on what you understand by digital well-being. And in this sense, I would like to invite each speaker to offer their insights, their perspective on how they understand digital well-being. And in this sense, I would like to start with Alena. Alena, please.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Really, I'm very glad to be able to be here. And maybe from the perspective of myself as a representative of Accenture, as a leading IT consultancy company in the global scale, I would like to say that digital well-being really encompasses a holistic approach to managing our interactions with technology in a manner that fosters balance, productivity, and overall wellness. Firstly, for me personally, it's about recognizing the profound impact that technology has on our lives, because we can see that from smartphones, social media, etc., our digital experience actually started to shape our behaviors, emotions, relationships. And as a consultancy firm, we understand the importance of helping individuals and organizations harness the technology in ways that enhance their lives rather than detract from them. Secondly, I see that digital well-being involves promoting healthy habits and mindful usage. And I strongly believe that the cards, which were shown before, can provide really a support to get accommodated to these healthy habits with respect to the use of the technology. And the third point I would like to mention is that we shall look at the technology as also as a tool which can actually foster connections and enrich our lives, while excessive screen time can lead to isolation and burnout. On the other hand, it can facilitate meaningful relationships, development of these relationships, extensions of our own personal networks, and can create opportunities, for example, for learning, for the personal growth. And ultimately, I would like to say that digital well-being is about empowering individuals and organizations to thrive in this digital era and in this increasingly digital world that is around us. And by prioritizing balance, mindfulness, and also meaningful connections, we can harness the transformative power of technology. And in parallel, we can safeguard our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. So that's the role of digital well-being, in my opinion.
Thank you so much, Alena. I have especially took note of what you said, empowering individuals and organizations in order to thrive in a very digitally connected world. And here I think it was very interesting to also hear your input from a corporate point of view that has helped developing different projects in the field of digital education and developing different digital skills. So moving from this side of corporate sector, I would like to pass to Alina, to YMCA Romania, from Slovakia to Romania, to see how do you understand digital well-being when looking at the activities that you're currently carrying out with young people from your community.
Yes, thank you, Eliza. Hello, everybody. For us, this topic actually emerged in a very early of pandemics when all our activities with the young people were happening in the online, and it was an overwhelming screen time. So together with some colleagues, we thought about writing a project. And one of the topics of this project was digital well-being. And everything started from, I would say, April 2020. And more, this topic is still a central part of how we run or try to run digital youth work activities. Because we truly believe that digital well-being is actually about the impact on the mental and physical health that the digital technologies generate during our work with the young people. It's the smart usage of the technology, trying to improve our lives, not to distract from it. So it's about balance. It's about recognizing and being very aware of how we can actually consider the technology to work in our favor, for efficiency, for reaching out to more and more young people, also from vulnerable communities, but as well to understand that also we as individuals, as youth workers, we need to put in practice a lot of good habits, good behaviors, good practices, maybe policies in our organizations, and to transfer this to the young people that we work alongside, for them to create a healthy routine, and for us as well. And why not for the organization to be more thoughtful regarding the holistic well-being of the young person, mentally, physically, digitally, spiritually.
So to improve our lives with the help of digital technologies and not to distract us from our lives by using different digital technologies. And thank you very much, Alina, for this insight. From what you were saying, I'd like to connect to what AD is currently doing in Kosovo at the camp for young people. How do you see digital well-being right there? How is it perceived by the young people you work with?
Thanks, Eliza. I'll try not to repeat what my colleagues said, because they're bang on exactly what I think we're all thinking. But from Kosovo perspective, of course, building a camp, we're being mindful also that, where does technology sit? Where does e-gaming sit? Where does individual personal learning plans and all this kind of courses that's available online now, where does that sit in the camp? And a great opportunity there to make sure that there's a balance, as Alina spoke about. But I think I just rewind slightly before the camp, because that is why that's my title. I also work across our national YMCA in terms of that digital kind of setup. And what I would say is the pandemic kind of almost forced us online to survive. And with that, we also were changed and we evolved. And we realized early on, coming out of the back end of lockdown, that it was about spaces, but more importantly, safe spaces. And any digital work and well-being work that we undertook, it needed to be underpinned with youth work, and it needed to be underpinned by our youth workers. And it's not so much, you know, here's a link, do a course. It's like that 5-minute intervention with a youth worker. How's your day been? How are you doing? You know, would you like a drink? Would you like a tea or a glass of water? Or, you know, you want to come and have a game of pool or something like that. So, you know, applying the youth work principles to what we're doing in terms of well-being, making sure that there's quality instead of just quantity for young people, and also that they are, how to say, signposting the right area. So a lot of kind of screen time can just be wasted watching videos. I'm happy to be challenged on that, but I myself can lose a couple of hours watching videos or reels or whatever's going on. So I think in terms of us as adults and us as organizational leaders and staff working with young people, for them to see the opportunities and for them to see there's life beyond TikTok. You see, I'm showing my age there. But you know, streamlining the signposting young people is also part of their well-being. So I would also be a big advocate of digital use for good rather than just technology for technology's sake or digital platforms for digital platform's sake. So I guess that's where we would sit in kind of the whole experience rather than just focusing on online safety or courses for courses' sake is more the youth work approach with young people across our centres.
And ensuring safe spaces also in the digital world. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. So from one part of the continent, Kosovo, we will now switch to another part of the continent, and we will go to Portugal, to João, who's working as a social and community intervention psychologist, and most certainly we will have some emotional understandings of digital well-being. João, please, how do you understand digital well-being? Unfortunately, we cannot hear. I think your microphone is stopped. Right.
Thank you.
It's
Okay.
working.
Thank you to my colleagues. I'm not going to repeat what they said because as Wednesday Setúbal, we totally understand and think about the same. So I want to present two pictures about what we are doing in order to promote digital well-being, and I think that illustrates better what we currently are doing about it. Okay.
Please do.
Okay. So one of the faces that coming from our boards in a few years ago, it's that how I say the world labor structure was changing about all these AI, data science, Internet of Things, all these technological tools. So we thought that we need to change in our organization the way that we're working with youth. Okay. So in order to do that, we start with new methodologies based on a STEAM approach and based on practical projects, and also looking for a high scope vision, like 180 degrees when we work with the kids. Okay. So we are facing problems with tech competences and also personal and social competences. Okay. We thought that we needed to change the way that we were working and to improve personal and social competences as solving problems, working team, and analytical solution problems, the ability that are the competences that are needed for the new market labor work. Okay, so in order to do that, I can tell you that we start to work with digital approach. In 2005, we applied for a program from Social Security that has the aim to initially promote information and communication technologies introduction. And when I started YMCA 20 years ago, this is a way that we had to take the kids from the streets we work in the social neighborhoods, and there were a lot of kids with risk in adolescence. So we use the digital programs in the beginning to take the kids from the street and promote the inclusion of them. Okay, so in 2018. From these parts, from 2005 to 2018, we started to do a lot of activities around digital, as you see in the pictures, okay, with video, photography, all with the digital contents, till the point on 2018 that we change our approach again, and we start to do a lot of activities that promote the well-being as the learning and empowerment as a tool, okay? So in 2018, we start to do a lot of programs as robotic and coding, STEAM activities, using arts, mixing everything. And currently, what we are doing to promote digital well-being, it's goes in the direction of the 4 pillars of the YMCA Vision 2030.
Oh,
Okay.
that's very interesting that you have made this connection with the YMCA Vision 2030. And to
Okay.
this, just to be mindful of our time, because we passed over the 2 minutes that we have
Okay.
allocated for this session. Maybe you can offer us some more details in the next session
Sure.
of the meeting. Thank you so much for also connecting our topic to the Vision 2030 of YMCA, World YMCA and YMCA Europe, meaning that there's a broader focus on this subject, and it's not something that it's only happening at the local level. And from Portugal, I would like to go to Ukraine, to Vadim, who is working on digital well-being in very tough conditions. So to be in a country which is currently at war and need to protect the citizens which are facing major risks and vulnerabilities, how do you see digital well-being unfolding in this context that you are currently in?
Hello, everyone. Hello from Ukraine. To tell the truth, I am not only the member of YMCA, I'm a government worker either. So we have a government policy of well-being, but definition of this, for my opinion, is well-being is a combination of conditions that improve quality of life and development in digital world. So we put the we have a couple state-based statements for this. So safety is the first. After that, convenience and efficiency in use of digital technologies and internet resources. I don't want to speak a lot because I see the time. We take a lot of time for this. I thought that just a couple minds for each topic. So thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights in a very clear amount of time. And I told you that we only have one presentation for today, and that presentation belongs to Gaia from the European Commission, who has accepted our invitation. Gaia works for just a second. As program officer at the DG Connect. And Gaia, one of the reasons or the main reasons that we have invited you to join us today is that our project, actually Mindful Bytes, would not have been possible if we wouldn't have benefited from the support of the European Union through the funds allocated through Erasmus+. So basically, the European Union has enabled us to develop tools on digital well-being. And in this regard, I would like to ask you, what's the focus for the European Union in terms of digital well-being and mental health?
Sure, happy to share a few slides on this. Are you gonna share the screen or?
Yes, I can share the presentation.
Thank you. Okay, perfect. So I will try to be as brief as possible and present to you a few actions that we are doing in the European Commission for mental health and digital well-being. So first of all, it's important to recognize that the mental health is very important and it's as important as physical health. This is something that European citizens also believe, And in fact, 89% of European citizens agree with this statement in the recent Eurobarometer, and it's also one of the key conclusions of the Conference on the Future of Europe. So last year, the Commission put forward a communication entitled A Comprehensive Approach to Mental Health. And the key element in this communication is the cross-sectoral approach, meaning that mental health really should be mainstreamed across multiple policy areas, from education, health, culture, employment, labor policies, and social policies. And that we need to really look in all of these sectors, in all of these areas, to understand the risks to mental health come from multiple perspectives. There are three main guiding principles expressed in the communication. So the first one is, of course, prevention. And for this, we have several actions that you can see in the picture on the right. There will be a European Code for Mental Health. Then there's also the European Depression and Suicide Prevention Initiative. And we are doing a lot of research on brain health, which I will mention later. Then the second important point is, of course, access, that good mental health treatment needs to be accessible and affordable to everyone. And for this, we also need training of relevant health professionals and professionals in other sectors as well. And then reintegration into society after recovery is the third main pillar. Very in line with today's topic is another point, which is boosting mental health of children and young people. And for this, there are several initiatives that you can see listed here. But for the sake of time, I would move to the next slide. Saying that this is a very key initiative to protect minor online. It is part of the Digital Services Act, which basically aims to ensure that all of the big search engines and platforms respect our rights. And the Act recognizes the potential risks that there can be for minors in using these platforms, and basically put in place prevention to mitigate them. I will mention three things that are included in the DSA about minors. So first, the yellow box, so risk management regime. So these big engines and platforms should put in place measures to mitigate the risks to minors, for example, parental control or age verification. Second, the purple box on the top. So the platforms that are dedicated to minors and targeting minors should really have terms and conditions that are easily understandable by minors. And third, the box just below, we can see that really all platforms accessible to minors should put in place measures to protect the privacy, safety, and security of minors online. For example, there can be no targeted ads to minors based on their personal data and profiling, and there can be no additional processing of their data. A very important point is that the Commission is currently working on a code of conduct for the implementation of the DSA with respect to minors' protection. And when it will be finalized, then the companies will be able to accept this and adopt this, but of course the DSA will stay in place. So this is the last slide. I would just like to present two key actions under Horizon Europe if we look more at the funding and concrete projects on the ground. So first, there is the call on supporting children and adolescents' health and care in an increasingly digital society. So this is exactly what we were talking about even before in the beginning of this webinar. So it wants to really support innovative projects and digital tools for good. So really leveraging these tools to improve the physical and mental health of children, adolescents, but also helping their parents and carers in doing so, in taking care of them. And among the different things that can be proposed, there can be, for instance, massive open online courses, games, but also telehealth solutions and solutions that increase the digital health skills and also relating to mental health. So lastly, we've spoken before about prevention. We are working on an EU partnership on brain health, which is expected to be launched in 2026. The CSA, not right now, there is a CSA Coordination and Support Action Brain Health under Horizon Europe, which is basically the preparatory phase for this. But the partnership will be able to really accelerate the preventive, diagnostic, and therapeutic care solutions to foster brain health in citizens and patients. So thank you very much for your attention on this.
Great, thank you so much for the perspective shared and also the frameworks that are of reference for the European Union. Great to hear about the partnership that is going to be developed and launched in 2026, you said. So that partnership, we understand that it's also going to have some funds available, or is it more in terms of cooperation? You have your microphone closed.
So right now there is the coordination on support action, which is in the, as I said, in the preparatory phase. So all the rest is going to be defined in the future.
In the following years. All right. Thank you so much, Gaia, for this presentation. And now that we have settled a few things in terms of what we understand in terms of digital well-being, and we have also used our card game in this sense, and we have the perspective from the European Union, we can say that we kind of have a framework set for these discussions. But in every framework or in every situations, we need to look on the challenges that we have seen or have occurred in our activities. And in this sense, I will invite you to come back to the discussions and to the insights shared by each speaker, and to share a bit about the challenges that you have occurred in your activities related to digital well-being and mental health. And João, maybe you can share a few of these challenges from your work in Portugal.
Okay. It's very hard to speak so fast. I have so many things to say. I have a list of things here, but I'm just talking about one experience that me and my colleague had lately. That was about, we were doing a workshop about youth and democracy at school. And what surprised me more is that the young people, it's completely apart from the reality. I mean, the reality in the current news in the world, and I asked for a question, and they did a homework about it. So they needed to talk about the recent news that they saw in the internet. And the topics that they choose for homework, they were not even related to anything of the actual problems in the world. So they use what I want to say is that the contents that they use, there's so many information around, and there's a lack of the contents that they choose to be more important. Okay, so that's worries me a lot lately. And
so more connected with the reality that surrounds them.
Exactly. They know about famous persons. They know about social influencers. They know about crimes, but they don't know about anything about the voting elections in Portugal. They don't know anything about the wars. They don't know the name of the wars. They don't know the countries that are in war currently. So this is a topic that, beside the others lately, that surprised me more. Okay.
Very interesting. So about the sphere of influence of subjects that actually gets to young people, most probably to the social media accounts that they follow. All right. What about YMCA Romania, Alina? What kind of challenges have you occurred in terms of digital well-being?
Yeah, I will focus on two perspectives. One, working with children and young people from vulnerable communities, from villages, through our mobile youth center. And our team is very attentive about the lack of digital competencies of the children and the young people from the rural areas. So even if they have access to equipment and the digital means, the lack of digital skills prevent them. And it's very interesting because they are using their phones for videos, for TikTok, for social media, but they are not, they don't have the skills to use it for good, for researches, for different informations, and more than that, moreover, to critically address the information that they reach or that the information reach them. And from this point of view, their well-being, their mental well-being is also challenged because they spend so much time in just scrolling, and their focus and motivation for real subjects and for learning, it's diminished, and it's a barrier in their growth and in their development as character, but also as competencies for nowadays society.
So more about digital.
And the second, somehow related with, let's say, typical young people, it's again the focus. It's very hard for our youth workers to keep their motivated and their attention, because they would like just to go through quickly different topics without actually taking the time to reflect and speak up and make sure that their voice and their opinions are not only heard but listened. And again, it's part of their online overwhelming time spent in social media, and less in meaningful engagement in the digital world.
Thank you so much for the challenges shared and the perspectives of our digital competencies and the attention span that has been heavily influenced by the behavior on social media. To our participants who have joined us today, if you have encountered some of the challenges, we would be gladly to read about your experiences in the chat. So we encourage you to also share your perspectives in this sense. So moving from Alina to Alena and to the experience that you have in supporting different digital education programs, for instance, what kind of challenges do you see in terms of digital well-being?
Yeah, I would like to add something to what was actually mentioned by Alina. Yeah. A few years ago, in Accenture Slovakia, we discovered that we are really having a huge issue with digital competencies in general. Yeah. And that our education system is basically not prepared for the digital age, and for the fact that the digital skills will be critical for the young generation to thrive in the digital age. So we even initiated some educational programs for teachers, because we believe that through teachers or through people which work with the youth, we can also upskill the young generation so they can use the technology in a responsible way. They are not only passive users, but they also understand the technologies and understand all the risks which are related to it. And we initiated a few years ago the program that is called Digital Competencies Coordinators Program, with the aim to have at each primary school, that would be great if this comes true, a teacher or a coordinator that would bring this topics to the school that would educate also the colleagues, and that would bring the content, the educational content that would help us enhance the digital skills of the young people. And we understand that the topic of digital well-being is very important, so we included it into the curriculum of this program. So the negative phenomena, like for example, cyberbullying or digital addiction, social comparison, digital fatigue, and so on, which are related to the digital well-being, are included in this curriculum. We are actively working with the teachers, so they are aware of these topics, of these risks, and give them also the tips how to address these topics with their pupils or with their students. And I think that the application or the digital version of the Mindful Bytes cards game is actually a very good tool that they can use in the education to support the development of the digital skills in this area.
Excellent. Thank you so much for not only sharing a challenge, but also a solution that you have found to the challenge on the digital skills. And moving to Vadim, who has shared with us that he's also working in the government side, so access to the policies. What kind of challenges do you see to digital well-being from this point of view?
During my practice, I met a lot of this, of the challenges, but I want to name you only three main one, for my opinion. Like the first one is depends on technology. Youngsters are relying on their phone more for themselves, like they need to rely for yourself more than for technology, but it's my opinion, maybe the youngster thinks other way. The second one is stress and informational overload, because right now we have so much resources where we're getting information, so it's like it's causing stress, and too much information, it's overloading our brain. So we need to make some more breaks for youngsters, for my opinion. And the last one is negative influence of social media, because young people, they are watching of some media person, they are comparing themselves to these people, and they are not satisfied with what they see, so it can cause some mental problems either. So I think, for my opinion, is the three most challenges right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If you have encountered the social media dependence that Vadim has mentioned, both in the beneficiaries that you currently work with in the young people, I strongly encourage you to write about your experience in the chat. I think this also help us to get a bit to see how different maybe challenges that we might think are common to a certain area or maybe to a country find themselves in different parts of Europe. Thank you very much, Vadim. And now we're moving towards Adrian and his experience at the youth camp. What kind of challenges have you encountered in your practice?
Well, we operate 3 digital hubs in our youth centers, which have around 600 weekly participants in 3 different cities. So, of course, stuff that also happens outside spills into the youth centers. We're quite used to dealing with the bullying, especially the digital bullying that's happened at school and then continues on people's phones and into the YMCA. Arguments that come before the sessions and before the time to be at the YMCA and continue late on into the night, even on some YMCA platforms. It's exhausting, not just being youth workers, but also moderators and peace builders and all those other things that are not in your contract or not specified. Switching off, people have already mentioned that. I think we also struggle with, young people in terms of what they are doing. And this is a reflection maybe of where we are. There's so many different opportunities now and so many NGOs or startups or businesses that are giving young people, this great course or this great advice or this is what you need to do, that, sometimes maybe when I was younger, it was a bit easier to map out your CV and kind of direct yourself into a certain place. And now, young people just doing courses for courses' sake because somebody has a project, somebody has a fund, collection of certificates rather than building towards what their career or goal is. We've talked about screen time, I think, in another YMCA Europe webinar earlier in this month. What I think is incredible is, as a parent, I'm being told, be mindful of your child's screen time, yet I'm also being told that the future is in tech and jobs and all those kind of things, or pro gaming, or be a YouTuber and all this. So what do? Am I mindful of screen time? Are we encouraging more screen time, or are we not? Because that's where the future is going. So I think there's a lot of not just pressures for the young people, but pressures for organizations and adults and youth workers to also get it right. And then I think just one very last thing for me is exposure. That was been mentioned by some of my other colleagues in the panel. Like, what are young people actually watching on their phones? Do we know? I can speak for our YMCA's. There's porn stars' names thrown around in youth sessions because young men are passing around porn videos and all know the actresses' names. And you're doing a session about leadership and stuff like that, and we've got all these jokes about a male porn star in it, and it's just like, again, where's the there's opportunities in that to do education and address those things, but with such big numbers, such little time, it takes a community to try and set that right, not just an individual or an organization. So the actors in the community, I think, also adds to this mental well-being. And quite simply, there's not a lot of pulling in the same direction. Well, not where we are anyway. And I'm happy put in the comments for others to challenge that. So thanks, Eliza.
Interesting. Thank you so much. So it takes a community to raise a kid, but it also takes a community to raise awareness on digital well-being. Great. Thank you so much. And from the perspective of the European Commission, Guy, I invite you maybe to share one or two challenges that you have seen in terms of digital well-being.
Yes, so the challenges are the ones that were already mentioned by the previous interventions. So it can be exposure to disinformation, cyberbullying, harmful or illegal content. And I'd like to point to the Better Internet for Kids strategy, which is a key strategy in the Commission to prevent that the risks of the internet outweigh the advantages of the internet. So it basically focuses on the fact that the digital world should be safe and protecting the children and young people from illegal content and harmful content. And importantly, that children have the skills, knowledge, and support that they need while using the internet, that they learn at home and in school how to use the internet safely and how to use the internet for their own benefit, for the benefit of their own well-being and mental health. And they know where to get support if needed. And key actions under this strategy are the DSA code of conduct that I mentioned before, but also there are safe internet centers in Europe that are a good resource for this in the different member states, and the Safe Internet Forum that is a youth supporting youth kind of forum organized every autumn where basically it's moderated by young people and discussing online presence and their impact on well-being. So these are a few key initiatives here.
Great. Thank you so much for telling us about what the European Union is currently doing in order to protect the digital safety of children and young people. And as every problem has a solution and every challenge is countered by some opportunities, in this sense, we would move towards the solutions side on what we can do in order to raise awareness about digital well-being, in order to build meaningful relations with relationship with digital technologies, and also to create an intentional using of the internet and different digital solutions. And to this, just to point towards the Mindful Bytes, the game that we have created in the project that Alina was mentioning in her intervention. The game was created with the support of Erasmus Plus funding in a printed version, and I would say in a beta version of its digital site, and it has been further developed with the help of our friends from Accenture. It's now fully available online, and it can be used both in offline and online settings. And we have 4 types of cards: understanding cards, reflection cards, action cards, and talking cards. And we have created this game in order to facilitate discussions about digital well-being, because in our research, what we have noticed is that we first have to start from how we understand different things, which are the common misconceptions about different topics, but most important, what we can do once we have this common understanding. So we strongly encourage you to use the game. We will also share it in a follow-up email to our conversation today. And then, given the fact that some of your answers have already tackled this part of the opportunities that come when it comes to digital well-being, I would like to invite you maybe to say one opportunity per speaker that you find at this moment most relevant in terms of digital well-being. And to this part, I would like to start with Adrian. Please share one opportunity that we have in terms
I'll be
of
quick,
digital
don't worry.
well-being.
But I did manage to get my hands on a copy of the
On the
Mindful
printed
Bytes
cards.
printed version. And I would say that this is the opportunity. I think we are late to the Mindful Bytes program and project, but I hope it's not just going to be limited to a program and project. And I just think the simplicity of it is absolutely brilliant. And in our YMCA, a methodology that has worked has been this safe space and has been this safe circles. And I think what has been developed here by you, Elisa, Andy, Alina, YMCA Europe, I just think it's great. And we are now looking at how we adopted and even expanded with some of our own kind of materials. So as an opportunity, I think one thing the YMCA has always done for 180 years, if you look at the first picture, it was about people sitting in circles talking. I also think, whether it's digital or not, there's so much power in sitting in a circle, whether that's digital like today or in an actual circle and talking in a safe space. I think there's so much power to that. So that's the opportunity. That's my plug. I'm not on the payroll, but we are totally in on this Mindful Bytes card game and looking to do more with it. So that would be the opportunity for me, Elisa, to keep talking on and offline.
Amazing. I would say you're an early adopter of the educational tool, and we are very happy to see how it unfolds in your organization. Moving to Alena, what type, you have already shared some of the activities that you're carrying out and the priorities that Accenture Slovakia has in terms of developing digital skills, but maybe one very important opportunity that we have in terms of digital well-being, what would you say it is?
Yeah, maybe first, before I jump into it, I would say that thanks to IMCA Europe, we last year provided the physical version of the cards to the participants of our Digital Competencies Coordinators program, and they can use it at school at the moment. And I believe with the digital version of the cards, we can really expand the audience for this game, because we are going to, of course, present the opportunity to use it to the participants of our programs also this year and next year. So I think that it will be rolled out into the schools of Slovakia. But talking about the opportunities, and I think that we partially already touched this topic. I think that what is important, or the most important, is to start with the self-reflection, to really understand our own digital habits and their impact on our mental health and overall well-being. And this is something that we need to speak about loud among us. We have to build awareness also with the young generation to make them know what actually it causes to them. If they are not well digitally. And we need to really provide them with the tips how to change patterns of their behavior, make adjustments, prioritize the activities that support the mental health and the overall happiness. I think that let's start with this awareness.
So start with self-reflection. Thank you so much, Elena, for sharing this insight. Joao, you have already mentioned a couple of the activities that you are doing at the YMCA Setúbal, but if you were to say one big opportunity that we have in terms of digital well-being, what would it be?
Okay, I'm going to share the screen again. I promise I take 1 minute.
Thank you, much appreciated.
We have a lot of programs running out right now for all ages. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm just to focus on one of those because colleagues from other YMCAs on international level have been asking me a lot of them. So before the pandemics and lately, we are using a lot of these technological tools to introduce learning skills and all the competence I was talking about in the beginning. That comes from microbyte to Lego solutions, and you can do in the classroom. I would be willing to share with in future with any one of you or others that want to know more about it. So there are some solutions that are very cheap. For example, Microbit does a lot of things. You connect with the tablet and you can code on it. It's cost like 25 euros or 30 euros for a microchip, and also this robotics with Lego. The kids love it, and we work with them in our programs.
Thank you so much for the example shared. I think this type of example shows very well on how we can put together different tools, like practical hands-on tools, in order to have a fun, exciting experience in terms of developing digital skills. And from this, I would like to ask Vadim, what kind of challenges do you see in terms of digital well-being, considering your experience?
Opportunity means, not challenges, opportunities.
Opportunities, yeah. You see, I remained with the with the challenges part,
Okay,
but thank
I
you so
will be
much for
really,
correcting.
really short. For me, the main one is digital literacy. Because if you know how to behave and be safe in internet, and it's my, I don't know, like my dream, like everybody gonna be safe and know how to behave in internet, do not be target for different scammers or something like that, because for us it's safety for the first place, you know, right now. That's why I choose this one. Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking about the value of safety. And in this sense, I would like to switch to Gaia. What kinds of opportunities do you see in terms of digital well-being?
Well, there are a lot of opportunities, but I will just mention one or two. So first, I think that we should really see the space that there is for innovation in digital tools, applications, platforms that can really leverage the power of digital for well-being. It is at the core of the Horizon call that I mentioned during my presentation, to really put young people at the center and to empower them to take an active role in the management of their physical, but also, and most importantly, mental health, for instance, through leading a more active lifestyle. The other key opportunity that I see, again, is using digital as a tool for better mental health is telehealth solution that can render, for example, therapy services accessible to people in remote areas, rural areas, to people with disabilities, to those who simply do not feel ready to undertake an in-person experience. And the last opportunity is health data. So how health data, but also other multidisciplinary data can be used to understand the determinants and the drivers of mental health. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for pointing out towards telehealth. I also think it's a very important solution when it comes to access to mental health opportunities and improving one's digital well-being. And Alina, we already had a very big opportunity to work on digital well-being through the project that was the base for this game. What other opportunity do you see in the future for digital well-being?
Yes, actually, without repeating the famous circle that Adi mentioned, and Alena as well, the reflection and the understanding and the sharings actually, and then followed by actions, I think are the main premises to a more balanced and more mindfulness approach. But what we did, for example, in last summer, in the day camps and in the overnight international camp, is we took the digital means and we created the digital activities in the middle of the forest or in the mountains. So combining digital with outdoor activity, and then at the debrief to talk about how much time we spend, what is the impact of the digital tools on our lives, on kids' lives, what we watch, cyberbullying, offline bullying. So it gave a platform to reflect and see how individually and collectively we can be more aware and take action. And also inside the organization, since last autumn, as we are all working, as we all do, more online, we are doing every month a group session conducted by one of our psychologist colleagues. We call it a ventilation, but it's for our well-being, and we discuss about what is a must to do in front of the screen, and what we need to, or we can also do in offline, and how to combine, and also how to just take pauses and to spend more time also in just, as Juan was mentioning, I think before, just really waiting, waiting and listening the response of how are you? How important is that for our teams in our organization to make sure that also those who are delivering and doing activities for the young people are well.
Thank you so much for this example shared. Very interesting about bringing digital to nature. And ventilation, which is also something that happens outside, but it should be replicated when it comes to our long use of digital means and the internet. All right, so we have reached now the last part of our webinar. Before stating some concluding remarks from each speaker, I would like just to remind you that today we have discussed a bit on what we understand by digital well-being, and the answers mostly revolved around the meaningful use of digital tools. And then we have discussed a bit about what the European Union is currently doing in terms of supporting the mental health of the citizens and digital well-being with the help of Gaia. Then we tackled a bit the challenges that we have in terms of digital well-being, and for sure there are many challenges, and some of them were related to the digital skills, others were related to the long exposure to different content, and making sure on how to properly use different tools. And then we have moved towards the opportunities, and some of the opportunities that we have revolve around self-reflection and understanding these topics, and also raising awareness on the importance of digital well-being. So now, as we are approaching the end of this webinar, I would like to invite each speaker to share one thing that they would like to send to all those who are going to watch this webinar. For instance, if they have not started doing some activities in terms of digital well-being, maybe this is the time to share something to encourage them to further work on this field. And maybe we can start in this sense with Adrian.
Thanks, Lisa. I guess just a reflection for us is in terms of our social responsibility and our responsibility to our communities, I don't think we ever envisaged 10 years ago that we would be stepping into providing digital hubs, digital services, these kind of things. But that's just where we ended up going due to the pandemic and due to the need of our young people. Right now, our courses, whether they're the Essentia courses, the HP courses, the 3D printing courses that we run, they're just as popular as our leadership courses and our camps, for example. And how do we blend the two to make sure that well-being in general and mental health in general and the development of the young people is our priority? So I guess the message to those who haven't yet done it is, get around in a circle, whether that's a digital one or not, have a think about where your organization's positioned, where your community is going to be, and not just young people. The digital divide is getting bigger for seniors, for as more services go online, like there are needs there in the community. Have a look where you go, start those conversations, make sure you're hitting your next strategy cycle, and just be meaningful about it. And I think there's plenty of organizations beyond the YMCA and also within the YMCA that have already kind of walked down some of those paths. So that's what I would take away. You're not alone. I think there's some links in the chat that the YMCA Europe staff are putting on there. There's already a ton of kind of stuff going, but the best time to start is today or tomorrow if it's late where you are. So that's what would be my encouragement.
Thank you so much for the encouragement sent to our participants. Elena, what final remarks would you have in this sense on pursuing this objective of digital well-being?
Yeah, I have very brief message. Let's just prioritize our digital well-being, because by prioritizing it, by fostering healthier relationships between us and the technologies, it will also help us having better relationships between us as humans. And I think that together we can really create like more mindful and connected digital world that will be advantage for everybody.
Thank you for talking about prioritizing this issue. João, from your point of view, what would it be important to say to the participants?
Okay, I want to say to the participants that raise awareness about digital citizenship nowadays is also a human right, so we need to care about it.
Thank you. So working about digital citizenship and democracy when thinking about digital well-being. Thank you very much. What about Vadim? What would you say to the participants in terms of digital well-being? Some words of encouragement.
I want to say a couple words about mindful bytes. To tell the truth, like with the increasing of influence of digital technologies on our lives, mindful bytes is a relevant and important tool for education, and I recommend it. Thank you.
So you're our strong advocate for mindful bytes. That's very nice. Start using mindful bytes, and you will be able to continue from then on with the other activities on digital well-being. This is what Vadim is advising us to do, and thank you very much.
The truth, all my answers were based on the mindful bytes because I already played a couple games and I really like this game. It's really useful. Thank you.
I think right now all the hearts at the YMCA Europe, the colleagues we have worked on this game, I think they grew a little bit hearing you talking about mindful bytes. So thank you very much. All right, what about Gaia? What would you advise the participants to have in mind in terms of digital well-being?
Well, just not to repeat what's already being said, but let's continue talking about this and across all sectors and disciplines. Let's spread awareness on the potential risks that digital can bring to mental health, but also about the opportunities. And yeah, let's really focus on those and make the most of those.
Thank you so much. And Alina?
Yes, I would encourage our organizations inside and outside of the YMCA to map all the practices that we have regarding with the digital well-being, safety, inclusion, and be very intentional about those. And if we don't have, then to create those practices and spread inside the organization and to our beneficiaries. And also to think about this digital well-being, digital safety, also from the policy point of view or advocating point of view. For example, in Romania, together with Elisa and all our colleagues from Why Romania, when in 2022 the youth law was amended by the parliament, we managed to advocate, and one of the principles of the activities for young people are taking into consideration also creating safe spaces in the digital safe spaces, emotionally, physically, and digitally of the young people. And from there, we can create, together with partners and stakeholders, more and more awareness and policies regarding this issue.
Excellent. Thank you so much for all of your interventions today and for the insights presented. We do hope that this webinar is going to represent a key point in further developing activities on digital well-being. And thank you so much to all those of you who have watched now the recording of this webinar or will watch in the future. We never know. That's the benefit of internet. The information posted, published once will stay there for a long time, most probably. And now for the end of this event, I will invite you to do a bit of an interactive part. Please look at the reactions and choose one reaction that describes how you're feeling now that we have facilitated discussions about digital well-being, and leave your reaction here with us today. So pick one reaction from the bar in the Zoom and share one with us today. Or you can leave one in the chat. It's up to you. How do you feel? Diana, thank you so much. We have a very smiley face. And to all those who have not shared the reaction so far, please do share a reaction on how do you feel after facilitating a discussion on digital well-being. And we have some applauses. That's very good. And Gaia, some fireworks. Yeah, igniting discussions about digital well-being. Well, thank you so much for being with us and for the extra 10 minutes. We started at 5:05. The extra 10 minutes that you have allocated for this meeting. One last thought. We do hope that if there's one thing that you are left from our meeting today, to all those that have followed it, is that digital well-being is a lot about being intentional about the use of digital tools and the internet. And in the future, we hope to create more and more experiences which are intentional. So thank you very much for today. Thank you to my colleagues, Marius and Andy and Samantha, who have supported the organization of this webinar, and to Juan, who has shared the opening remarks. Thank you, and see you next time.